Confabulation.
音の科学者クワム。
with what you're getting, and you have to be very intuitive about it. So like you've seen the process that I do with people and I take them through. So none of that process is like planned out. When I go into it, I'm just getting what I get from the people that I'm walking through the process. I'm delivering whatever it is that I'm getting. And like I didn't have that ability before, but it wasn't until after that I started to realize that I had these abilities. You know, back in 2011, before the incident, after my friend died, I realized that like there was something else to this world that like we weren't seeing. So I got more into like the I think they call it astral projection. So I got into that stuff, and yeah, I say over time, like my senses, I've been able to hone them in and get a better feel for it. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to talk about some maybe an astral projection experience that was very important work? Or how do you utilize astral projection for your healing work?
So with the remote healing stuff that I do, I have to be able to like astral project my body to above the field, and it's kind of scientific, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But yeah, it's very special. Like I see other coaches when they do this work and they're just talking, and I don't really feel anything from what they're doing. But when someone else is actually knows how to do the work and is actually projecting, astral projecting within the field, then that's when I start to feel the shift.
Okay. And when does this work? Does this work? Do people receive you maybe in dreams, or is it just during the day? How does it typically work?
So with the superconscious work,
Yeah, with the I mean, I'm not sure if is it much of a difference with if it's not the super conscious work, or
well, yeah, for that, I don't do any work when someone is not like present and aware of what I'm doing. You know, it's a permission based process. So I have clients that like when they need me, I'm there. But when I'm not on a call with them, I won't do any work in their field. Because you know, if they don't know what's going on, then it can actually cause a lot of problems for them.
Mm, okay, what kind of problems can it cause?
Like it can trigger dormant memories into their active experience and bring up like past emotions. when all parts don't understand what's going on, then they can get triggered. And like when someone's on the call with me, I know how to handle that when those parts get triggered. But if they're not on the call and a part gets triggered, then yeah, it's hard to deal with that. So I just don't even bother.
Okay. And how old are you now, Patrick?
Oh, I'm 30.
Okay. And how many years have you been on this path?
Um, yeah, about 10 years. So when I had that injury, it was in 2011. I was 20 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so does this have anything to do with your diet?
Well, I'd say diet had a big part of it. In 2019, well, 2016, I started to work out and train, really focus on my physical body. And my diet did play a big part in getting me to where I'm at now. But I didn't start to make the most improvement until I started to do like that deep internal work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so what in terms of your diet helped you?
Yeah. So just well balanced, like make sure I have good balance with like carbs, proteins, and fats. And the fats were actually the most beneficial because the brain actually it needs fat.
Mm,
So like back in I think it was the early 90s, they had like this low fat diet going around, and they saw that all these people started coming up with these different mental disorders, and they started like coming into the hospitals. And so they looked at what their diet was, and it was all a fat-free stuff that was being produced and marketed in the grocery stores. So I try to stick with like olive oil, almonds, nuts, butters, like nut butters, avocados to get my healthy fats. And I was taking a lot of DHA fish oil throughout
okay.
my journey. So yeah.
Awesome.
And then as far as carbs, just making sure that I'm eating like complex carbs, not like highly highly processed carbs.
So you didn't like go totally vegan or anything.
No.
Just kind of like balanced out your diet a little bit more.
Yeah, I tried vegan, and I do believe that when man was first created on this earth, God created him as a vegetarian. And it wasn't until the fall that God started to allow them to eat meat. So I believe that that's how we were created in the beginning. But I've tried it, and it's a very hard way to live. Like, I don't know. I might go to it one day, but yeah, not right now. I love chicken too much.
Okay. So that's no, that's fair. Okay. Um, okay, so now when you spent this 20 to 30 minutes pretty much deceased.
When I woke up and like after those, so actually when the doctors came in and I spoke in Spanish, I said michacletas,
What
and
does
I
that
was telling them to take off my sandals. Now later on, when my mom asked me that, I said I wasn't here, or no, she said let's pray. and we prayed, and she said, God is big. And I said, I know, Mom. So she goes, how do you know? And I told her, because I wasn't here for 4 days. I was in heaven. And when she asked what was heaven like, I told her I saw three lights: a white light, a blue light, and a red light. And then I saw a big hallway, and there was a lot of people in this hallway. They're all facing me. So I went to the first one. This was Renee. This was the girl that died living that party. So I talked with her. I let her know that I was sorry for letting her leave that night. She said it was okay, it wasn't my fault, and that for me to deliver a message to her family, let them know that she was okay. So I went to the next person. This was my aunt. She gave me a message. She said that if I surround myself with the right people, that everything would be okay.
Wow.
So she told me to deliver a message to her family. And it went down the line. Each person I saw was someone I knew here on earth. They each gave me a message, and they each asked me to do something. And it wasn't until the last person I saw a girl. Her name was Lauren. She was she was the sister of my best friend growing up. She died of a drug overdose. And when she passed, her sister, she was in a very bad place. So I didn't think that I would ever see her again. And so I got kind of emotional. But she told me to not fall into like that dark place again, like with drugs and alcohol, because the powers are way too strong, and it's nothing that we should play with. And she told me to give her sister a message, let her know that she was okay. So after that, I looked to the right, and all the people were gone. I looked to the left, and the people that I just talked to, they were gone. I looked directly in front of me, and no one was gone. Next thing I knew, I was in heaven, standing before Jesus. I told him that I wanted to come back. I think it had to do with something that, knowing that my loved ones were okay, I wanted to come back to earth. And he said he knew, but he wanted to show me something. So he took me to a field, raised out his hand, and he said, what do you see? I told him I saw a field with corn. It was actually stalks of wheat. And he said, that's not wheat. Those are all the souls that are going to come to me as a result of hearing your story. And then the next thing I knew, I was in another field with a whole bunch of people. And all these people knew me, but I didn't know them. And I never saw God the Father face to face, but I could feel him. They all surrounded me, and I could feel his spirit. And when I felt him, I asked him to send me back, and he did. And my mom said, did you have sandals on in heaven? I told him yes. It was hard to take off.
Wow.
Yeah,
So interesting and beautiful. So beautiful.
yeah.
When I hear your story, that's that's the part that always touches my heart so deeply. Those words of the wheat in the field.
Mm,
It just you can't make it up. You just cannot. It's just it hits me right here.